Yeah. Alright. We are on page Kuf Zayin. We started Ois Memvov towards the bottom of the page. And we began talking about the uniqueness of the oyer that we were discussing until now. The principle that this oyer is distinguished from one level to the other, and yet ultimately is mislavish in keilim. Islapshus in keilim, we pointed out yesterday, is a very unique kind of islapshus, because keilim are nothing but carriers of the oyer. They do not, in and themselves, appreciate what they're carrying. To that extent, the oyer diminishes itself, a little limits itself, in order to be able to be brought down to the point where it goes into keilim. And we'll start 3 lines from the end of that little section that begins with one verb. That the spheres, the various madrigas in the oyer, are different levels, not only in terms of ribu yemiyut, but also in terms of what they, in the essential defining elements. Ubayim bebchinas islapshus b'keilim, that's a sphere d'atzilus. And then ultimately these oyeres come, which means they ultimately reach to a point where they become the bebchinas islapshus b'keilim, in his islapshus manner in keilim. Of a sphere d'atzilus. Bebchinas islapshus pnimi. What does this mean? Bechinas islapshus pnimi. The islapshus is of a kind of islapshus pnimi that the oyer actually relates to the keilim. Sha'alidei, this is another step, another notch in this. Sha'alidei was a result of this islapshus. Nasim b'bchinas metzius dover. The oyeres become, or the spheres become, b'bchinas metzius dover, in a sense of metzius dover, of a concrete presence. What is this about? Metzius dover. Throughout the journey of the oyer, so to speak, up until the time that the oyer actually is imbues itself in the keilim, the oyer represents the source where it's coming from. It's a living oyer. Meaning to say that the oyer, whatever its statement is, it has a basis, and it has a reason, a purpose, and a point in making that statement. This means the oyer is a living oyer. Pardon me, what am I talking about? Its aim and purpose and inspiration for it is still carried on in the oyer. which is not just a presence, a metzius. Like we gave a marshal, the marshal keilim. Keilim is a completely different concept. Let us take the hand and the hammer that's in the hand. Both are involved in the same thing. And there is a phenomenal difference between their involvement. The hammer is accomplishing a certain task, not for the sake of the task, not for the sake of the ultimate result. It is a completely isolated task. The hand, on the other hand, is absolutely sensitive to what it's doing. Even though it's not the brain, it's not the seichel. Still, the hand brings out its talent, its sensitivity, how it swings the hand and so forth. All that is of a living quality. When the koyach of the hand is mislabish in the keilim of the hammer, then that swing becomes a metzius of a swing. To the extent that it can transmit its life to a hammer. Which is totally oblivious and insensitive to what it's doing. Reflecting on the concept that oir, oir hanefesh, or oir laki, the oir can be reduced to the point of becomes a metzius dover. Metzius dover means a presence of a tangible nature that represents just its presence, not its sense, not its life element. This is the ultimate point. We're buying that there is chalkus and there is milo mato to the point where there's a mato to the extent where you can go into a keilim. Where in the keilim becomes the slapshus pnimi, if it becomes the slapshus pnimi in the keilim, clearly the oil becomes a metzius dover. REBBE once explained a Rashi in Chumash. By Aaron HaKohen it says and by lighting the candle, that they should light the candles in a certain way. Then it says in the passage, "Vayaskein Aharon," and Aaron did as he was told. That he tilted the candles towards the center of the menorah, whatever it means. He did as he was told. And Rashi says, what is the posuk telling us? He did as he was told. This is to tell us a praise aspect for Aaron. Sholishino, that he did not deviate from what he was told. Mind-boggling. Why should he deviate? He was told to do a mitzvah in a certain way. He was a privileged person to do this mitzvah. Why should he deviate? So Rebbe explains, phenomenal thing. Aaron, excuse me, was lighting the candles of the menorah. Lighting the candles of the menorah has tremendous significance for the entire Jewish people. Lighting, illuminating their neshamas. And Aaron was surely aware, fully comprehensive, fully appreciative of what he was doing. And what was he doing at this time? He was preparing the candles, pouring a little bit of oil here, and preparing this wick in a certain proper way. And it should tilt this way, it should tilt this way. And all that he did while he was fully aware of what he was doing, of the significance of his actions. To be so fully aware of what you're doing on the oil level, and yet, completely negate your personal involvement in this, and do exactly what he was told. The Rebbe says, and he didn't spill any of the oil. Everything went exactly the way it should.
Negate your personal involvement. Put aside your own sort of excitement.
Completely. This is the shvach. That he was able to do this to perfection on the deed level, on the material level, despite the fact that he was full of oil. Full appreciation of what he was doing. So this is what we are learning over here.
To remain on this call, press 1.
Please. So the oil is become b'chinas mitzius dover. Okay, 3 lines from the bottom. And in this Esesphiros Nikir b'yoyser, it is very recognizable, very obvious. B'chinas yischalkus the ma'alo mata shebehem. You can recognize very pointedly, very sharply, the aspect of Milo Mato, the Ischalgus Milo Mato, the changing from Milo Mato that takes place in this fetus. This is in the Oyev Pnimi. And as we said, the reason that such a transformation is allowed to happen to the oil is that the oil at its very inception is an oil pnimi, is intended to be mislabish pnimi sinkei. Namely, in simple terms, is intended to be effective rather than to be what it is.
This word pnimi, inner, shows on, indicates that it's ready and able to go inside a keilim, or that it's it is going chitzoni. It's getting exported.
No, okay. No, the word pnimi means something different. Pnimi means it imbues itself into that which it affects, which it affects. Or pnimi.
Even.
Oh, one second. I understand this misunderstanding.
They told.
Yeah.
Any news?
I'll mute them 1 second.
Yeah, you hear me? I said any news?
That's all. I muted them.
Oh.
Opening means the following. You have a guest in your house. And you make sure that the guest is not hungry. And what do you do in order to prevent that possibility? You set up a smorgasbord or a central tank, and he can come and take food that he needs. You're providing for his needs, but you're not feeding him. You're not involved with him.
Not that personal attention.
That's right. It's not a pnimi relationship.
I guess the problem where we started off today, it goes even to a keilim that is oblivious, that is
That's right. And that's why it's oipnimi. Oipnimi means it can actually divorce itself from itself and relate to what it's supposed to accomplish, to the extent where it becomes a mitzias. A mislabish in a keilim. To mislabish in a keilim has to be completely oblivious of its chayv, like in Aaron.
Right. And even if the keilim itself is unknowing,
that's right.
It still accomplishes purpose.
That's right.
Fine.
Because it means to the keilim, like I have this glass of water, to the keilim I can give you water. Period. That would be p'chinas pnimi. Omnam. Okay, again, 2 or 3 lines from the bottom, which we want to measure it. Omnam, however, b'chinas hoyer maki, the other level of oil, the other type of oil, which is called hoyer maki, who she'enei bo b'chinas slapshus b'keilim. That oil is that oil which does not end up to be between slapshus and keilim. It's not aimed to be slapshus and keilim. Although it illuminates, it's makif, but it does not ever descend to the point of becoming slapshus and keilim. It can be contained in keilim. Mishum, because the because in the very root of this oil, as it is rooted in the oil in search of lifnei hatzimtzum, that is the oil that carries the quality of Ein Sof and carries the quality of Bli Gvul. Vehu, and that oil, what then is its function, its purpose? Bebchinas gilui hoetzem shemein hoetzem. That oil represents a different aspect completely. The aspect of gilui hoetzem, of revealing the etzem. Revealing the etzem is an extremely important, significant inyan. Shemein ho'etzem, and that gilui is mein ho'etzem. Mein ho'etzem means he's of the same ilk as the etzem. It is of the quality of the etzem. Excuse me, sorry. And what is the quality of the etzem? Etzem never leaves itself. It has no reason to leave itself. Because Etzem is the absolute reality, absolute truth. It has everything. It is everything. Etzem is not there for a purpose, for a function. Etzem is there because it is Etzem, because it is the reality itself. And this oil makif represents that kind of presence. At a wedding, Mitchum, you will all have opportunity to experience this. At the wedding of a child, you cater the wedding, make sure that every guest is comfortable, has what he needs. After that is all taken care of, and the people are very settled down for the meal, and the orchestra is playing whatever it's playing, and people are very enjoying, so to speak, the moment. The host, the parent of the chos and kala, go around the tables and sit down at every table for a moment and say l'chaim with the people. What is that for? That visit is extremely important. Even though you were already taken care of. That visit does not really give the guest anything, per se. It gives them this oil makif, that they are recognized from the highest echelon, so to speak, from the highest point of where all this is coming from. The entire meal and all the catering and all that thing is fades, so to speak, in value, in significance, when it comes to the actual the parent. The parent is not involved in that. The parent is in a different world. Marriage of a child is something that reaches a person extremely deeply, and it has to do, so to speak, with the next generation, with the unending reality. Much greater than the momentary experience. You can ask any guest, how was the wedding? Oh, it was nice. Ask the parent how the wedding was. It's a stupid question. This is Gilui ha'etzem, shemein ha'etzem, and is beli gvul. What does marrying of a child mean to the parent? What does it mean to the guest? It means a lot to the guest, but what does it mean to the parent? It is his whole life. This is Tat Oy Makif. And that cannot be mislapshus in keilim. You cannot strip it of the oil of the etzem involvement and bring it down to a mitzvah. No way.
This is in contrast to the Orpimi.
But the Orpimi, as we said, is possible to be mislabish in a keili, which is the extreme of mislabshus.
How did we change gears to go from Orpimi to Ormati?
No, we didn't change gears. We just pointed out to the contrast.
Okay.
ve-hinay is boiling. For we explained earlier, Perik Zayin and Perik Chov Zayin. We explained there the Shorosh Hoirois, that the roots of the Oirois means the many Oirois, which means the Oir Pnimi. Hein gam ke miyuchodim b'hoetz. The Shoiros of Oiros Pnimim as also miyuchodim b'hoetzem are also united with the etzem, and in that sense, they're also representative of an etzem. In other words, even though we just now finished concluding that Oir Pnimi comes to the point where it can be established in keilim, where it is stripped almost completely from the Oir aspect and becomes a Metzius Dover. Yet still, we explained earlier that the oil is in its roots, even though the oil is in its roots, we have not finished saying has as an aim to be mislabish in keilim, pnimi. Still, that too is miyuchad bo'etzem. That too is united with the etzem. At its root, it's miyuchad b'etzem. This is going to be a little bit of an elongated discussion. Just want to make a point. Quick, sharp point. Ultimately, the oil is mislabish in the keilim. And the mislabish b'keili becomes a mitzias. Becomes perfectly fitted, suited to world. It becomes world. To the extent that one can be stupid enough and dissociate it from its source completely. Say, it's an evolutionary process.
What's it? Yeah.
The oil, the koiches. Evolutionary process. How idiotic that is, but yes. So now the question that I want to pose is this. Yes, now we have created a world consisting of Mitzius Dover. Is there such a thing as a worldly world? Is there such a thing as a world that is really completely rooted in worldliness without a godly source? The whole phenomenon of existence is godly. despite whatever this level of existence is.
That's interesting. Existence in itself is godly because
you finish that sentence.
Because we say there'd be no thing without him.
There's no existence. What is existence about? The Gemara says, "Hu mekoymei shel olam, ve'ein ha'olam mekoymei." Which means, in literal translation, he is the place for the world, not the world the place for him. The implication of this place for the world means, what gives the world, so to speak, a right of being? What's it about? He gives it a right of being. Yeah. So that this is what we're saying. That Shoroshi, the top line on the bottom section, the very bottom section. That the roots of the oiris are also miyuchad b'de'etz. And this is like we said, the market presents the yetzer. Now we're saying even more than that. That even the oi pnimi is also miyuchad b'hoetzer. Because ultimately, in the overall reality, there is only one reality. Even though it goes into keilim and becomes a mitzias dover, there's only one reality. Shezehu inyan shmi. This is implied with the term Shmi. My name means HaMiyuchad Bi, the name that is Miyuchad with me. Not a reference type of name, but a name that actually is representative of me, of this reality. V'hei min hakonof. And this which we explained there in the earlier prokim, that the oiris are miyuchodim b'etzem, and it's called min hakonof. Min hakonof means, like by tzitzis, the tzitzis are supposed to be of the same material that the konof, that the garment is made of, or the corner of the edge of the garment is made of. If it's wool, then the tzitzit has to be wool. If it's something else, it has to be something else. Even though this is tzitzit, this is something which is external. But it has to be, min hakonof, it has to be of the same kind as the konof. The same is in from the oiris. The oiris is oiris, and they have specific qualities, and they're ultimately established in keilim. But they carry in them Shmi, the reality of the source where they come from.